Hi, I chose to upload this video to all my friends, acquaintances and others who care about the truth. Between the 14th till the 21st of November 2012, there has been a fighting going on between the IDF, the Hamas, Islamic Jihad and other terrorist organizations. I choose to refer to a different kind of fighting or the same issue, the fighting against lies distributors. Let's have a look at this. This is an attempt to portray our soldiers as inhumane, but it's clearly not an Israeli soldier. This picture was taken from the war in Syria, and this is just ludicrous. Now, the purpose isn't to boycott CNN, nor to change it. It is an attempt to open your eyes. Those are all worrisome examples of misinterpreted, invalid, not reliable, jumping to conclusions, and I could go on like this all day, messages that over millions of people from all over the world are exposed to. Those aren't even cases of biased media, and if you know the fact, then you don't have to be a student of law to identify a winning case. But above all, it has disturbing implications, mostly affecting people's mind, behavior, feelings, judgment, etc. Now, to those of you who follow the broadcasting, I'm not trying to justify Israel, although I truly believe that we have all the justification required to act the way we did. However, I do expect one thing from you all. Do not jump to conclusions. Even when you see a terrible picture that the media has decided to show, I know it's hard, but it's simply not fair because sometimes the truth is hidden and you can't always notice it. I spoke to a few friends from different countries, mostly from Europe, and most of them have said the same thing. What we see here and what usually counts are the numbers. On the Israeli side, 3 casualties, and on the Palestinian side, 100. But what they all unacceptably miss out is that among those 100 casualties, most of them are active terrorists. But since I know that this is a sensitive part, so let's talk about the other minority. Say that some activists from the Islamic Jihad organization would stand behind those launchers and constantly shoot missiles towards cities, not towards army units, towards innocent people like my mom, my dad, my friends and myself. Millions of people, almost half a country, under constant threat. What would you do if someone told you that the next missile is going your way or threatens any of your family members? Please take a moment to think about it. Would you destroy the launcher, or would you let the terrorist organization play with your faith? Maybe now you would have a glimpse of our reality. This woman is protecting her child, but no one can guarantee her that the missile isn't going her way. And no one can bring back to life the 4 innocent Israelis that were intentionally murdered. Please don't get me wrong. I feel horrible for those who don't take part in the terror and get injured. You have to understand, the IDF has explicitly informed those people by text messages, phone calls, flyers, you name it, to stay away from those launchers. Now let me surprise you and get back to the dilemma. In many of the cases, the IDF, or more accurate, the IAF, decides to take the risk and not to shoot. Why is that? Let's hear an English veteran commander speaks at an UN debate.
I am the former commander of British forces in Afghanistan. I served with NATO and the United Nations, commanded troops in Northern Ireland, Bosnia and Macedonia, and participated in the Gulf War. I spent considerable time in Iraq since the 2003 invasion and worked on international terrorism for the UK government's Joint Intelligence Committee. Mr. President, based on my knowledge and experience, I can say this. During Operation Cast Lead, the Israeli Defence Forces did more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare.
Than any other army in the history of warfare? Do you freaking know what that means? Do you even know what it takes? I don't think so. Let him speak.
Israel did so while facing an enemy that deliberately positioned its military capability behind the human shield of the civilian population.
Aha! Now you see, I'm not making up stuff. What the Hamas and other terrorist organization has done before the Operation Cast Lead happened again. It became a fighting method. Let's hear this.
More than anything, the civilian casualties were a consequence of Hamas's way of fighting. Hamas deliberately tried to sacrifice its own civilians. Mr. President, Israel had no choice, apart from defending its people, to stop Hamas from attacking them with rockets.
Now you know what's the sad part? While the IDF is doing such an effort in order to prevent injuring innocent people, they are doing everything they can in order to harm innocent people. On the last day of the Operation Pillar of Defense, an explosion occurred on a bus traveling in the heart of Tel Aviv, with 28 people injured, some of them badly. This is a proof of the kind of monsters that we have to deal with. You know, our fourth Prime Minister Golda Meir had said a smart thing. Peace will come when the Arabs will love their children more than they hate us. Thank you for listening.